Have you ever felt your dream die before you even touched it? Not because you failed, but because your mind whispered, "Not yet. Not you. Not now." And you listened. You stayed safe. You stayed quiet. You stayed realistic. Then you watched someone else, no smarter, no more talented, step into the life you wanted because they didn't let fear write their story. Today, I'm going to tell you about a man who lived 12 years with big potential and small thinking, until one conversation forced him to face the truth. Your life won't change until the voice in your head changes. Marcus was 38, and on paper his life looked stable. He worked at a mid-sized tech company, managed a small operations team, paid the bills, and showed up every day. But inside, he felt like he was fading, like life was moving forward and he was just maintaining. His days were a loop. Same commute, same desk, same problems. And the hardest part was watching other people rise while he stayed in place. Younger colleagues got promoted. New hires walked in with confidence and climbed faster. Marcus didn't hate them. He hated what it made him realize. I could be doing more. Because Marcus had ideas. Real ones. In a hidden notebook in his desk drawer, he kept plans for a consulting service, strategies he'd built from years of experience, solutions he knew businesses needed. But every time he thought about starting, a familiar voice shut him down. "You're not ready. What if you fail? Stay safe." So he stayed safe. And the notebook slowly turned from hope into regret. At home, his wife Jennifer saw it. One night she asked, "Why don't you apply for that director role? You're already doing half of it." Marcus shrugged. "They want someone younger. Someone with an MBA." Jennifer looked at him and said, "You've been saying that for years. When are you going to believe in yourself?" Marcus had no answer, because deep down he knew the truth. He wasn't being humble. He was being afraid. Then the breaking point arrived. The CEO called an all-hands meeting and announced the new director of operations. It wasn't Marcus. It was Daniel, 29 years old, confident, polished, hired on a leadership track. Marcus had trained him on the real operational work. Now Daniel was his boss. Marcus clapped with everyone else, smiled like a professional, and felt something inside him collapse. After the meeting, he sat alone in his office. He opened his hidden notebook and flipped through the pages slowly. The ideas were still good. The plans were still workable. And that's what hurt most. He wasn't stuck because he lacked talent. He was stuck because he kept agreeing with the smallest version of himself. That night, Marcus barely slept. In the dark, he finally admitted the truth. "I'm not unqualified. I'm scared. And I've been calling fear being realistic so I don't have to risk failing." The next morning, instead of driving straight to work, he stopped at a small coffee shop he'd passed 1,000 times but never entered. It was quiet, calm. Behind the counter was an older man with steady hands and peaceful eyes, making coffee like it was a craft. Marcus noticed a small plaque on the wall, a consulting firm name, founded years ago. "You owned a consulting firm?" Marcus asked. The man smiled. "I did. Built it, ran it, sold it. Now I run this place because I enjoy it." His name was Robert. Marcus surprised himself by opening up. "How did you do it? How do you go from working for someone else to building your own thing?" Robert studied him. "You're stuck," he said simply. Marcus didn't argue. He couldn't. Robert leaned in. "Come back tomorrow morning. Same time. I'll show you what changed everything for me." Marcus returned the next morning early. Robert had 2 coffees ready, like he expected him. Robert asked, "When you think about your dream, what's the first thing you think?" Marcus exhaled. "Everything that could go wrong." Robert nodded and drew 2 trees on a napkin, one tall and strong, one small and struggling. "Same seed," Robert said. "Same sun, same soil, different outcome." Marcus asked, "Why?" Robert tapped the bottom of the drawing. "Roots." He pointed to the weak tree. "This one thinks shallow thoughts. What if I fail? What if it's hard? What if I'm not enough?" So it stays safe. It never goes deep. Then he pointed to the strong tree. "This one thinks stronger thoughts. I can learn. I can adapt. I can take the next step." So it pushes through hard ground. Robert looked Marcus in the eyes. "Your thoughts are your roots. Weak thoughts create weak roots. Weak roots create weak results." Marcus swallowed. "So what do I do?" Robert said, "For 90 days, retrain your mind. Every time you catch a weak thought, stop. Replace it with a strong thought. Then take one small action immediately." "One small action?" Marcus asked. "Yes," Robert said. "One email. One page. One call. One lesson. Not huge. Not perfect. Just consistent. Marcus started that day. The fear didn't disappear, but it stopped being the boss. For weeks he caught the weak thoughts, replaced them, and took one small action. One page of a plan, one outreach message, one skill lesson, one conversation he used to avoid. By the end of 90 days, Marcus didn't have a perfect business, but he had something more powerful: momentum. He finished a strategy course, built a simple offer, and reached out to 5 people. 2 replied. 1 said yes. 6 months later, Marcus landed his first paid consulting project. Small money, big proof. His ideas weren't just thoughts anymore. They were valuable. A year after that coffee shop conversation, Marcus had steady clients on the side and enough income to stop feeling trapped. And here's what mattered most. When life hit him with problems, his first thought was no longer, "I can't." It became, "How can I?" Because strong roots aren't built by talent. They're built by the decision to think stronger, especially when you're scared.